Hi everyone, Spencer here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to paint up some really heavily verdigreed armour for Custodes. I was very lucky to get the box sent to me from Games Workshop, and I thought I would just put a little video together to show you how I painted the armour. I wanted it to be quick and simple because Custodes have a lot of armour, and I wanted it to also translate well to larger models too, because the dreadnoughts and tanks are really cool. For this recipe we're just using 4 colours. They're all from AK Interactive. We've got mint green, rubber black, rusty gold and old gold. We're going to be using them in that order too. For tools, I've got a medium Artis Opus Series D brush, a texture palette, a dampening pot and of course some water. So the first thing you want to do before doing any dry brushing is actually dampen the brush. We do this using the dampening pad, or you can use just a piece of tissue, and this is going to help to let paint leave the brush easier and keep the brushes better for longer. We've got the model here and we've primed it in black. If you've got one of the shield variants, you probably want to leave the shield off so that you can get to some of the armour underneath, or not if you're happy to just leave the armour, not as well painted. First up, we're going to use the mint green, and we're going to put a big blob of that onto our texture palette and load up a brush. We're going to load it quite heavily. You don't want to just stick the brush into the middle of the blob though, so pull some paint off to the side and then load it up that way. And we're just going to stipple this really heavily across the whole of the model. If you've got an airbrush, you could use that to do this step, and it'd be a lot quicker, but you don't have to. This recipe works just as well without an airbrush too. And you're just going to keep going, keep applying it quite heavily all over. Make sure you get into all the recesses, which is where the verdigris is going to show through, and you're going to end up with something looking like this. After that, we're going to clean the brush, so you want to use your dampening pad again and put water into it and then brush that off onto your wet palette. And then we're going to use rubber black and do the same basically, but just a little bit lighter. We want to leave as much verdigris in the recesses as we can. We want to hit all the main armour plates with the rubber black. This is going to really sell the aged sort of coppery bronze verdigris effect. After we've done that, we're going on to dry brushing, and we're using rusty gold, which is a really nice dark gold colour. We're going to put that onto our palette, pull some off to the side, load up our brush and then brush off most of the excess. And we're going to quite heavily dry brush this across the whole model. So this is going to cover a bit of the rubber black, but hopefully leave most of the verdigris in the recesses until you'll end up with something like this. Finally, we're going to use old gold, which is a nice brighter gold, and again put that onto the texture palette, pull off to the side and load up the brush. We want to remove most of the excess here, so just a tiny bit left on the brush. And then we're going to lightly dry brush this across all the details. So this is going to really pick out any raised areas and make them shine, which is going to sell that bronze effect like this. All that's left to do then really is to paint in any of the rest of the details. For me, I just went with some simple colours here, and obviously with my base, which is kind of like a sandy beachy base. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me do a video on the basing or on the swords or any other details. And as I said, this recipe also works great on the larger models. For larger models, I would suggest trying to pick out an area or like a vertical line on the model and place your highlights more strongly in those areas. And don't be scared to leave a lot of heavy verdigris in some of the other areas. It really sells the effect if the verdigris is quite random. So I hope you like the recipe. Let me know in the comments if you did. If you want to see more little quick recipes like this, that'd be great. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.